Hey everybody, how you doing? Well, that sucked. Welcome to PHLY Flyers postgame presented by Bet365, where winning is everything. Not exactly apt tonight as the Flyers fall 3-2 in overtime and take a 2-0 series deficit in the series as we now revert back to Philadelphia. My name is Bill Matz. Joining me here live in the Xfinity studio, it is Broad Street Hockey's own Kelly Hinkle. Charlie O'Connor will join us on the Xfinity mobile call-in line in just a little bit. Well, they got the start they needed, Kelly Hinkle. They get a power play goal of all freaking things. Jamie Drysdale makes it 1-0, 4 minutes and 2 seconds in. And just 39 seconds later, Captain Couturier makes it 2-0 in front of the net from Carl Grundstrom. Off to a hell of a start, less than 5 minutes in. And then that's that. That's all the scoring the Flyers do. Nick Ehlers, midway through the first, scores a power play goal of his own. Seth Jarvis ties it up about halfway through the third. And then, with just over a minute left in overtime, Taylor Hall wins it for the Carolina Hurricanes, who now have a commanding 2-0 series lead.
Yeah, this is one of those, you got up 2 on a team that you couldn't score 1 against in game 1. To let that slip away it's a real bummer.
It is. This is absolutely a bummer to let this lead slip, to go nearly 90, how low? They go 73-25 without scoring a goal after taking a 2-0 lead in the first 4 minutes and 41 seconds of action. That's just not good, and that is tonight's big deal. Brought to you by our friends at Wawa. It might not be Wawa Wednesday, but it's always Wawa Wednesday in our hearts, Kelly Hinkle.
It's true.
The big deal tonight is the absolute lack of offense after the first 5 minutes of this game. 2-0 lead, you get a power play goal, and the power play goes on to go 0 for its next 6.
Yeah.
Now, you did hold Carolina to 1 for 6, which would be great if you had actually won the special teams battle, but you still did not, despite some pretty decent results, especially after the first period. The fact that we were watching overtime saying this is the best the Flyers have looked all game, and they still are unable to come away with it. Dan Vladar, centimeters away from being able to scoop and stop what eventually became the game-winning goal, but he wasn't. It eludes him. Carolina gets a stick on it. Taylor Hall's able to bang it home. That's a heartbreaker. That is a gut-wrenching loss because of the start, holding on, getting the chances you do in overtime, and then still it is not enough to overcome a team that historically they have just not been able to overcome.
Yeah, this team has a finishing problem.
Yeah.
It's not like new to this game. Like, they've had a finishing problem all season, it feels like. And I don't know. I'm not a hockey coach, so I don't know how you fix that. I don't know how you teach the most skilled players in the world to, finish on their chances. But the Flyers have to figure out how to finish on their chances. They had, in regular time and overtime, ample opportunities to win this game that they just did not put away. Either one too many passes, or missing the net completely, or shooting it directly into Freddie. Like, they just had opportunities that were given to them by the Hurricanes that they just didn't capitalize on. And that, I feel like, is the difference between a real cup contender and a team that's just skating into the playoffs for fun.
They outshot Carolina 15-8 in overtime. The 15 shots on goal, that equals what they had in the final 40 minutes of the game. Yeah. They had 15 shots between the second and third. They had 15 in overtime, and Freddie Anderson stopped them all. We will get to the one he didn't even make a save on in a little bit. But just, I don't know if this, given the start, given holding them to 1 for 6 on the power play, given how well they played in overtime and the chances they were able to create, I don't know how much better the Flyers can play And yet it still wasn't enough.
Yeah, I don't know that they could do better than
I
this.
suppose you could have converted more of your chances in regulation. I suppose we can expect more out of the power play, but LOL, can you? Like, I don't know, 1 for 7. That's like basically what they are, right? Like, that sounds like 15% to me. And that's basically where we stand right now with, man, I would hate for this to be a sweep. Now the series does come home. Perhaps they get a little boost out of, hey, we outplayed them in overtime. Yeah. Maybe Carolina takes its foot off the gas. Maybe you just dig down for one more great effort. But you see, they lose tonight. They trail 2-0.
8 p.m.
8 p.m. on Thursday, yes. Yeah. We get the 6 o'clock start on Saturday, though, so that's something. But, yeah, it's just... I think that what bums me out more about this than just losing after you have all those quality chances in overtime is like, well, if you didn't win that one, what's it gonna take?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I think this was their opportunity to steal one in Carolina. They looked really good at the start of this game. Better than I expected that they would be able to look against this Carolina Hurricanes team after the game 1 performance. And like you said, if you're not able to close this one out with all of those opportunities, I just don't know how you're going to do it.
Yeah, listen, they could come out on fire. They could have another big start and maybe convert a few more. Freddie Anderson could have an off night. Dan Vladar could, as he did twice in the first round, pitch a shutout.
Yeah.
But it is going to take, as I have said since before the series started, somebody stepping up to a level beyond what we have seen from them all playoffs in order for this team to even extend the series, let alone have the chance to win it. And now trailing 2-0.
Yeah.
I will say it has happened before, as Charlie and I like to say. I think back to, well, tonight was the anniversary of that game 4 against the Penguins in 2000.
Yes.
They lost the first 2 of that game. They won game 3 in overtime. They win game 4 and 5 overtimes.
Sure, it happens all the time.
And then, they fall down 2-0 and win it in 6. Not saying it can't happen, but it would be a little surprising. But that's the big deal tonight is, if not this one, then what one? Really, yeah. after they played as well as I think they are capable for long stretches of this game, especially in overtime.
Yeah, it's and like you said, somebody needs to step up. And what's frustrating is that the guys that you expect are going to be the guy to step up haven't stepped up. Not in the Penn series, not so far in this series. Travis Konecny specifically had the game on his stick and just absolutely whiffed it.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, it's unacceptable from your best players.
And I am sure when we ask Charlie about 3 stars, Sean Couturier's name is going to come up, but I want to bring him up right here, Kelly. One guy has stepped up beyond everyone else these playoffs, and especially tonight. Scores the goal that makes it 2-0. Sean Couturier +1 in the game.
He was amazing.
24-51 time on ice for the old man. Almost 60% in the faceoff circle. 5 shots on goal. 5 hits. He was everywhere. Sean Couturier is playing some of the best hockey I've ever seen him play. I mean, yeah, there are the Selke years. There's the years where he's paired with Giroux and he's putting in 30, putting up 70 points. But for these 8 playoff games, he has been by far their best skater, let alone forward. Gets his first goal of the playoffs tonight, and I think that tells you all you need to know about this scoring offense, that their best forward gets his first goal tonight after, in the first period of the 8th game. But someone else has to do something for this team, and thus far it has just been, 3 guys have 2 goals for the Flyers. 2 of them are defensemen in Sanheim and Drysdale, who scored his second tonight.
And that's that's another thing that's super frustrating, is that you are getting these stellar performances from depth players and defensemen. Like, Jamie Drysdale is not supposed to be winning you games with goals. That's not how this is supposed to work. Sean Couturier, like you said, is playing some of the best hockey we've seen him play in years. And if he were doing that in addition to the players that are supposed to be better than him also contributing, we might really have something cooking here. But it's just like, none of the guys the Konecnys, the Michkovs. I mean, like, Porter Martone is a child, so I'm not going to get mad at him for not looking. Forster, I don't know if he's just hit the wall, like we talked about earlier, because he came back too soon. I don't know. But these are the guys that you expect to step up and score goals, and they're just not doing it. And it's a shame that we're wasting what we're getting from Vladar, what we're getting from the depth in the defense. It's all going to be for naught because the guys that are paid to score goals can't score goals.
Yeah, absolutely. On the other side, we're going to talk about tonight's game changer. I apologize in advance to our friends at Elkin Chevrolet. Let's pretend it's Sean Couturier, but it's not going to be. We'll have that. Charlie will join us on the Xfinity mobile call-in line at some point as well. All that and so much more to come after this quick 2-minute commercial break. Elkin Chevrolet, run by three brothers, real brothers, local guys, and right now, these guys are going all in. Check out their inventory of Chevy trucks and SUVs, the ones people actually want, priced to move fast. Silverados, Equinox, Trax, Traverse, if it's on your list, they have it, and they're going fast. So if you've been waiting, do not, because once these trucks and SUVs are gone, they are gone. Whether it's getting to a game, going to work, or getting out of town, you'll be driving off in the right ride at a price that makes it an easy yes. And here's the difference. No runaround, no back and forth, no games, just real brothers making real deals every single day. Elkin Chevrolet, real brothers, real deals, and a whole lot of that signature honkin' good service. Located on Route 73 South in Marlton, New Jersey. Stop by Elkin's today. Let's go Flyers! What if you could have reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi? And what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? Well, that's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Imagine Wi-Fi that makes everything in your home work together. Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. And Wi-Fi that lets you stream the game even when the whole family's already online. All your devices working in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And the best part, there's no annual contracts and no hidden fees. And Xfinity's best equipment is always included. Take it from me, a lot can change in 5 years. Championships are won, records are broken, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi, it should stay reliable and the price should stay put. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities with Xfinity. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Select plans only, restrictions apply, and as always, let's go Flyers. PHLY Flyers post-game presented by Bet365. Following a 3-2 overtime loss to the Carolina Hurricanes in Game 2 of the second round series. Carolina out to a 2-0 commanding lead before we return to Philly. And now it is time for tonight's game changer, driven by Elkin Chevrolet. Elkin Chevy, real brothers, real deals, and a whole lot of honkin' good service. It could have been Sean Couturier with his outstanding performance tonight. Could have been Dan Vladar, who made a lot of big saves in this one, especially after the first 5 minutes or so of the first period. But unfortunately, I have to give it to Travis Konecny.
Oh, dear.
With the puck on his stick, 1-on-0 midway through overtime. The whole game, I'm asking for a bounce. I'm just asking for that one little time where a 50-50 puck goes our way. Off a face-off, Trevor Zegras, pressure on the puck, gets the turnover, is able to find TK streaking down the center of the ice. 1-0. The Flyers, best forward, allegedly.
Yep.
Misses by a mile. And that's that. It was their best chance of overtime, just in terms of, like, you know, a dangerous opportunity from a dangerous spot. A guy with a whole lot of goals in his career. TK did have 4 points in the first 5 games of the Penguins series. 3 of them assists. He only has 1 goal through 8 playoff games, Kelly. He only has 2 playoff goals in 30 career playoff games.
Not good enough.
I realize, like, 2018, he's a child. He's a little kid.
Doesn't count.
It's his first playoff. It's the Penguins. Sure. Okay. I realize the bubble was just not good for anybody.
Yeah.
That whole thing was just an S show. But, man, he is the guy who was saying, I'm just tired of missing the playoffs, man.
Exactly.
He was so defeated, and he has been such an emotional and productivity leader for this team. It's hurting me to be like this critical of him. I don't believe him to be anywhere near 100%. He's out there. You know, if Owen Tippett plays in this game and has that opportunity, I'm sure we're killing him, and perhaps there's something to be said for getting his ass out on the ice when we don't think he's 100%. But still, in that spot, you need to dig down and figure out a way to put the puck in. And I just saw while we were at break, Jordan Hall tweeted, like, he's taking accountability. He says he should have shot and scored there and the game should have ended. Should
That
be
is
1-1.
correct, yes.
I accept, like, I tip my hat to that. What else is he going to say, though? We all feel that way.
Right.
And, man, it's the playoffs. It's not a large sample size. It's not a, yeah, man, but he usually converts there. It's one and done in the playoff. It's
Right.
best of 7, but you know what I mean. Like, this is it. And now you trail 2-0. It could be 1-1.
Yeah, I just don't know what else to say. That he has to score in those situations. And I don't really care about past playoff performance. Those are like such isolated pockets of games. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense to be like 30 playoff games. Like they all happen at once. Doesn't matter. These playoffs, you're our highest paid player. You're supposed to be our best player. You can't disappear off of the goal sheet and expect your team to go very far. And obviously he's not trying. I don't know if he's got the yips or what. But he's just
the amount he missed by. Like, I have no idea where that piano music's coming from, Bryn. It's like so loud, and I have no idea from where it could be coming.
Do we have a poltergeist?
Like, this is absolutely insane. Can you hear it on the mics? It's crazy. Is it like, I don't know. Someone here has to be playing the piano,
Chad,
right?
We might have a ghost.
Yeah, just keep going. Pretend it's not happening. Anyway,
I don't hear anything.
Tonight's game changer is, as Bryn put on the board here, a sad face via Travis Konecny.
Game changer, derogatory.
Yeah, game changer could have at least changed the game for the positive. Could have ended the game, in fact, but instead, he just can't net it. 1 goal in these playoffs thus far. It was in the 4-2 loss to the Pens in Game 4. Man, I wish there was more positive to say about what TK has done. I do think he played a pivotal role, at least being rat-like TK against Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
This opponent here, that's just not the same.
It's not going to work.
It's not the same. No. I did say after the last game, like, perhaps the only way to win this series is to turn it into a circus, basically turn it into the championship game from Slapshot. It doesn't feel like they're going to go that way. And with the way this one started, it was okay. They've made adjustments. They came out hot. They got a couple bounces. They beat Freddie Anderson a couple of times. That's got to feel good. But then they go 73 plus minutes without a goal. And a lot of it is, hey, man, TK, it might not be fair. You might not be healthy. You got to score, though. You have to score, especially on a breakaway in overtime.
That's the other thing that's frustrating is that after that first game, as bad as they looked, I wasn't sure they were going to be able to figure out how to beat this Hurricanes team. I just kind of thought, you know what? This is a much better hockey team. The Flyers do not have the horses to beat them. Is what it is. They're going to try real hard. Maybe we'll have a little bit of fun. Tonight, they figured out how to beat the Carolina Hurricanes. They hung with them for long stretches of this game. They looked better than them for stretches in this game, and they still found a way to lose. And that's what's frustrating because, again, you're wasting performances from players. You're wasting opportunities. You're wasting the fact that you got up 2 on a team that you couldn't score on. Like, there was just so much wasted potential in this game. It's very, very annoying.
Right now, the event summary has TK at 1 shot on goal, and that's his only attempt. Is it possible he hit Anderson with that, and he kicked it wide or something? Maybe he missed by so much it didn't register. I don't know. But either way, just not a good enough effort there from Travis Konecny. Puck on his stick, 1-0 in overtime, and it really didn't feel like he hit the net there. So maybe the event summary is just wrong.
Maybe Charlie saw something differently from up in the sky, but it sure didn't look to me like he hit the net.
Yeah, it did not feel like that at all. And for that, he is tonight's game changer. Like I said, 4 points in 8 playoff games here for TK. Only 1 goal. No points thus far through 2 games. They just need more out of him, and they need more out of everybody. TK is not alone.
No, he's not the only one.
He is the guy who makes the money. He is the guy who they have counted on time and time again. He is both their emotional and points leader. Yep. You need more out of Travis Konecny if you are going to get yourselves back into this series trailing to nothing. Do you want to talk about Jamie Drysdale? He scores the opening goal of the game.
He was good.
He scores on the power play to put them up 1-0 just 4 minutes in, ends up playing over 29 minutes, has 4 shots, the power play goal, 1 block. He has been a horse in these playoffs. He's played a ton. He finishes -1. I think he's out there for the losing goal, just a mad scramble in front.
Yeah.
But I will say, in terms of guys who have, I think, maybe played better than their numbers, at least production-wise, Drysdale does have 2 goals, and he joins Martone and Sanheim as the only guys on the team with 2 goals, which is insane. But I think Jamie Drysdale really making a solid case for himself to be one of our cornerstones going forward.
Yeah, tonight in particular, the power play puck movement was very good. And obviously he is a huge part of that. But he looked good all around. And you're right. This is kind of showing that the foundation that we kind of saw starting last season that he built on this year, it seems to be like a real deal situation. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think we have to worry anymore that Jamie Drysdale is not going to be a good NHL defenseman.
He is a top 4 NHL defenseman.
Absolutely.
That is his baseline.
Yeah,
now.
Exactly.
Whether he brings even more offense, whether he adds some muscle, whatever it is, like, to become better now is to really exceed expectations that he has built himself into this absolute, like, top 4 guy for a playoff team.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree.
No, I was pretty impressed with Jamie Drysdale, and the way the team needed to be able to move the puck out of their own end faster than they did last game. I think they did a better job. They weren't 5 minutes at a time looking like they were on the penalty kill as much as they did in the last game. And even with Andre only playing, 12:40 of a game that basically went 80 minutes, they still were able, I think, to at least build on what they weren't able to do in game 1. They are moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
It's just happening slowly. It is happening at a pace that, like, all right, we're going to be down 3-0 and win game 4 and then lose in 5. Like, that's what it feels like. That is what it feels like we are trending towards right now. I would love to be wrong. Yeah. I would love for them to win the first game in Philly and turn game 4 into a we can do this sort of situation.
Yeah.
But right now, it just feels like, man, like we started off the show saying, if this was the best game they can play, and 36 shots on goal, you get a 920-something save percentage out of Dan Vladar, 930. They've now upped it to 40 out of 43, so he makes 40 saves. I don't know what else you can ask out of this team. I don't know how they can play better other than just converting more of their chances, I guess.
Yeah.
Just score on more than the first 4 minutes of the game.
Yeah, I was kind of ask you, because I do feel like this is the kind of game where you can look at it in 2 ways. You could be like, okay, they were absolutely outmatched in game 1. This game, like you said, obviously made some progress forward in that end. And I think that, like, you could think that, okay, that means that game 3 will be even better. But I don't know, like, for me, watching this game tonight, I don't know that it could be better than this.
No, and now Carolina has the momentum and confidence of, hey, they just hit us with their best shot. We just had to erase a 2-0 lead. We just trailed for the first time. I think they said they haven't trailed in a game since April 7th.
Since April 7th.
Which is crazy considering, like, oh, yeah, the Flyers did beat them, but they had to do it in a shootout. Like, it's not like they haven't lost. It's just that like it's been things like during game time, they've never been behind.
Right.
The Flyers had them. The Flyers had them trailing for a long time in this game, and yet they still weren't able to put it away. On one hand, you can look at things like, all right, we got 36 shots. We did score a couple of goals early. We did score a power play goal. We held them to 1 for 6 on the power play. On the other hand, can you match that? Can you match what you did and then convert more of your chances?
Right.
Because that's what it's going to take. And to this point, there's no proof that they can. I mean, there's very little proof they can score more than 2 goals in a game in these playoffs. Like, they haven't done it a ton of times. Have they topped 2 goals in a game? When was the last time? So they lose 3-2, 3-0, 1-0. Lose 3-2, lose 4-2. They haven't scored more than 2 goals since the first 3 games of the Pittsburgh series.
Oh, boy.
So it's been what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight games scoring 2 or fewer. Maybe they're due. That's how I felt in overtime. And then, Travis Konecny doesn't convert on the gift breakaway. So who's to say?
To be fair, there were quite a lot of opportunities in that overtime.
There were more. As much as that one stands out, Michkov had a few shots and a few setups. Noah Cates had a opportunity at the end of the third. A couple of guys had some chances in this game. It's not as if TK is alone to put it all on him, but that is the one that stands out.
Yeah.
I guess before we go to break, we got to talk about this power play a little. All right, that's that. No, so
it stinks.
They score a power play goal early, which is more than we can ever ask for out of this team, quite honestly, is to score in the power play whatsoever. But then they go 0 for their next 6. And I realize it's a bad power play. I realize Carolina has good special teams. You got to be better than, yes, 1 for 7, but 0 for 6 in a row. Like,
no,
man, you're not going to be able to beat this team just being mediocre in certain aspects of the game. And 1 for 7 is generously mediocre.
There really is, I don't think, a bigger problem that needs to be fixed this offseason than the power play. I mean, they're just not going to be a serious team with a power play like this.
Yeah.
And if it were even like 10 percentage points better, it's like everything is completely different. You know what I mean? Like, they're well into the playoffs halfway through the season. All of these series would probably look a lot different if they could just score maybe 3 for 7. 2 for 7.
2 for 7, they win the game.
Exactly.
That's really what it comes down to. And I don't think like that's over the top.
That doesn't seem asking a lot.
We're just asking to come through in big spots.
Right.
It's not even like they're going to be 2 for 7 every night.
No.
I'm not even asking for a good power play. Yeah, I'm not even asking, but in certain spots, you have to come through, and it is so hard to score, especially in the playoffs, especially against a great defensive team, which the Carolina Hurricanes are, if you're not scoring when you have more guys on the ice.
Exactly.
There's your opportunity right there. How do you take advantage? How do you beat a team that's as good defensively, that's getting as good of goaltending as they are? You take advantage when it's 5-on-4. And yes, they get the first one, but then you had 6 more opportunities after that and you come up empty. That is going to be tough to overcome.
Yeah.
And listen, we're now 80 or 90 games into the season? 90 games in. They're not fixing it, but they just have to be more clutch, whether it's on those opportunities in overtime or, hey, they got an overtime power play. That's tough. You're not getting another.
No.
Like, that was it. And they weren't able to convert. It's a bummer of a night.
It stinks, Bill.
This is one of those, man, in a week, we're going to look back and go, what a successful season. But on the night, we're going to be critical because it's, man, 1 for 7 on the power play.
They had this.
They had 2-0 lead 5 minutes into the game, and they let it slip away against a team that they have a ton of trouble beating.
Yep.
All right, on the other side, we will eventually be joined by Charlie O'Connor on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line. We'll talk about Matvei Michkov. We'll talk about Porter Martone, all the young kids and their contributions thus far, coming up after this quick 2-minute break. Introducing your new craving, Wawa now has tacos. Wawa is expanding its freshly prepared food lineup with new seasoned beef tacos available for a limited time, and they're built to deliver bold, craveable flavor in every bite. We're talking warm, soft tortillas filled with Wawa's savory, juicy, bold seasoned beef, plus fresh toppings that you can customize your way. You've got options too. Choose from seasoned beef, chicken, steak, or black beans. Add shredded cheddar cheese. Pick up the 2 spreads like barbecue, ranch, buffalo, and finish it off with a fresh topping like shredded lettuce, salsa, and more. It's all packed into a 6-inch flour tortilla, making it the perfect handheld on-the-go option. And the seasoned beef doesn't just stop at tacos. It's available across the full lineup, including burritos, bowls, quesadillas, and so much more. But do not wait. This lineup is only here for a limited time while supplies last. All right, quick timeout. This one is worth hearing. TrueMark Credit Union just rolled out their new Momentum Checking, and it's built for everyday life. No big balance requirements, no hoops, no confusing tiers, just rewards for how you already bank. Use your debit card, you can earn rewards on your everyday purchases. You'll also get ATM fee reimbursements, plus access to high-yield savings options when you complete a few simple activities. And right now, there's a $250 bonus when you open a new Momentum checking account and meet the qualifications. More perks, less hassle. That's a big win. Check it out at TrueMark.com or visit one of their 24 local branches. $250 bonus with new Momentum checking and $1,000 qualifying direct deposit within the first 90 days. Prior checking members not eligible. For full details, visit TrueMark.com/momentum. Federally insured by the NCUA. Welcome back to PHLY Flyers postgame. Joining us now live from Raleigh, North Carolina on the Xfinity mobile call-in line, it's Philly's #1 hockey beat writer, Charlie O'Connor.
Hi, Charlie.
Chuck, the Flyers open up a 2-goal lead under 5 minutes into the game, slowly watch it slip away, lose in overtime. What are your initial thoughts on game 2?
Yeah, this one is just tough to swallow because they did so many things right. They did so many things well. They obviously get off to the big start. They jump out 2-0, but even it's funny. The first question that we were talking after the game basically was, and it wasn't my question, it was somebody else. Asked, well, what did you lose in the second and third periods that took you until overtime to get back? And Taka pushed back, and he basically said, I think we played a good all-around game. Obviously, we're playing against a really good team, and I largely agree with him. Like, I think sometimes we, as a not just fan base, but just like a hockey watching world, we can look at it as like, oh, well, they didn't dominate for 60, 70 straight minutes, therefore, then like they did something wrong when they weren't dominating. Like, sometimes you're playing against a really good team. Like, Carolina was always going to get their looks, but I mean, you look at the underlying numbers, Flyers were the better team in terms of expected goals at 5-on-5 in this game. Now, a lot of that is driven by the fact they were the better team through the vast majority of overtime, but that's part of the game. The Flyers overall played well enough to win this game. They had opportunities. They got up to the good start. They scored a power play goal. They got, good enough goaltending through the vast majority of the game from Dan Vladar. They just didn't win. And it's one of those games where it's hard to be too critical of the overall effort. You can be critical of individual plays missed and individual opportunities squandered, but I can't be too hard on the team because I think the team played a good game. They're just playing against a really good opponent, and sometimes you can play a really good game against a really good opponent and still lose.
And I think that's kind of where I don't even know if it's frustration, but like almost resignation comes from. We always knew this was going to be a tough series against a team that is a cup contender. They almost never beat. I mean, they've beaten Rod Brendamore's Canes 6 times, and 3 of them were before COVID. Like, it's been a long time. Well, one of those 6 wins was their JV squad, the second last game of the season. They have a ton of trouble with this team, and for good reason. They're really good. But I think our resignation, frustration, or whatever comes from, you open up a 2-goal lead less than 5 minutes in. You play relatively well. Like you said, you get overall good goaltending. You hold their power play to 1 for 6. That's pretty good. Still, you lose. If you couldn't win this one, what's the recipe to get even one in this series?
I mean, the recipe is just do this again. Really, the recipe at its core is it's not just do this, it's play the way you did in the vast majority of overtime over the course of a 60-minute game. Like if they play that well over the course of a 60-minute regulation game, they'll win it in regulation because that team was like I would say over the first 60 minutes of the game, the Flyers were playing the style that they need to play to hang in there against the Canes, in that they were sacrificing puck possession, but they were keeping the Canes to the outside. They were opportunistic on a few chances, and they were just playing really, really good defense, even though they didn't have the puck much. The difference between that and overtime is overtime they had the puck a lot because they were making plays. They were Tocchet loves to say this. He's been saying this for months. We started holding on to pucks. Rather than just throwing pucks away, they were holding on to pucks and trying to make plays. They were pressing. They were pinching down the boards, but not in a dumb way. They were just pinching down the boards to keep pucks alive. They were playing an attacking style. If they play that way in Game 3, they'll win Game 3, and then Carolina will have to adjust. But it's really hard to play that well against an opponent like Carolina that is just a really tough team to play against. So like I'm not gonna rake them over the coals because they only played that well in 18 minutes of the game. Well, they played well enough to win in the other 60. It's just those 18, you're like, man, if you play that well in a full game, yeah, you'll win 4-1. Like you could beat this team going away if you play that well over a 60-minute game. The only remaining issue though, and it was something that I asked both Rick Tocchet and a couple of the players before the game today, and it remains an issue. And it just maybe this is just a talent thing. Like maybe this is just purely a talent thing, but they just don't score enough goals.
No.
I mean, they had 5 goals in Game 3, in Game 3 against the Penguins. Since then, they've yet to score more than 2 in a game.
Yeah.
And that buried this team. Someone has to finish on these chances. Someone has to get a dirty goal. Someone has to snipe one. And I think in a lot of ways, they already have the pieces. I think guys like Martone, guys like Michkov, guys like Bump, guys like Barkey, in 2-3 years, they're going to be more efficient scorers. They're not there yet. And this game was just a reminder that, like, as hard as this team played, and they played hard in this game, it just doesn't look like they're there yet against a cup contender. Like Carolina is a legitimately great team that very well could win the Stanley Cup, and they're just not quite there. They need to be playing their A+ game to beat this team. Whereas, you want to be at a point where you can play your B+ game and still beat a really good team. I don't think they're there. They need to play a truly great game, and they just played a like lowercase g great game in this one.
One of those guys who is a prime age good goal scorer is Travis Konecny, and you know where this is going.
Yeah.
Puck on his stick, 1-0 in overtime. Right now, the event summary has him with 1 shot on goal and no misses. I don't know how that's possible.
Looked like he missed it.
It looked like he missed that by a whole lot. What did TK have to say about his chance at the end?
Well, he owned up to it. He said, he needs to finish it. If he finishes it, we win this game, and he took the blame. It's interesting. In person, it very much looked to me like he missed the net too. But the reason why I hesitate to say that is the NHL has been so careful about shots on goal. Like they're not counting shots on goal that the goalie actually stops, but it was just a little bit going wide. If they haven't changed that yet, maybe the goalie did stop it.
Yeah.
But maybe he did. Maybe it just looked like it was going wide, but maybe he nicked it with his blocker. I mean, they take this stuff very seriously now because of sports betting. Regardless, though, regardless of whether it was a miss or whether it was a save, it's a golden opportunity. I mean, you are the team's leading scorer. You are the team, everybody on the team, as I've said on multiple occasions, believes Travis Konecny is their best player. He's the guy they all look to. They all looked to him, and he didn't come through. And it's one of those things where like you're hard on him because that's what you pay him for.
Right.
But it's not like that was a mental mistake. It's not like it was, he wasn't trying hard enough. He just didn't come through. And it's frustrating, and you expect Travis Konecny to come through in those moments because that's what you're paying him for. But there's honestly, and again, I get fans don't want to hear this. I cover these guys. You get to know them as people. Like a lot of me just kind of feels bad for him because I know how much he wants it, and it doesn't absolve him. Like still needs to finish on those chances. He knows that. Everybody in that room knows that. But I do feel bad for him that he had that opportunity and he just didn't come through. I do.
I know the answer to this from your, like, as a journalist, I can report I know you don't know, but if you had to guess, how hurt is Travis Konecny?
I mean, I've suspected he's been pretty banged up for a while. That said, like I don't think an injury causes you to not finish on that chance. You know,
That
you got
chance,
so you got
no.
you,
I
yeah
just
yeah you
see
got so much adrenaline pumping through your veins on that play. Like you're not feeling anything other than the puck and your stick and the crowd noise. Maybe if you can even hear it.
I see 1 goal, 3 assists through 8 games now. I think this is the guy who was like, man, I just want to make the playoffs. And now he's here and he has not. I know he played the role of rat and he was the emotional leader for a lot of that Pittsburgh series. But for 8 games of the playoffs, to me, he just hasn't looked like TK as we know him these last several years. And I want to believe it's because of something else. That's really where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. If I had to guess, I would guess he's dealing with a couple things, but they're obviously not going to reveal
Yeah.
that until the season's over. And I mean, I don't think anybody wants the season to end, after 2 more games. They'd like to see the Flyers, draw this out and make this series interesting. It's just, in fairness, yeah, you're down 2-0, but they say it's not a series until until somebody loses at home. So if the Flyers come out in game 3 and they win, they're right back in it.
Charlie, what did they give Sean Couturier before this game tonight?
And where do we get
And
it?
where do we get it?
What if they given Sean Couturier since like the middle of March? I
Seriously.
mean, this guy, it's. I almost want to go back and watch a random game in January and then like have it split screen next to the version of Sean Couturier from this playoff series, from the Penguin series. Like this does not look like the same guy. That guy in January, once the puck got over the blue line, he like forgot how to do anything. It was like his stick was made out of metal and the puck was just clanking off of it at every moment. Now he's the best player on the ice. I mean, he's definitely the best flyer. You could make a case he's the best player on the ice. He's just constantly making plays. He's playing physical. He's playing assertive. And again, maybe some of this comes down to that he's the only guy on this team that has significant playoff experience. He's the only guy on this team who's really been through it in a way that all the young guys, even guys like Konecny, really haven't been. But I also just think he's just feeling better about himself. Like it's a confidence thing. It's like he's almost at some point he remembered like, oh, right, I was once a really, really good hockey player. Why don't I just do that again? And then he's done it.
Yeah, I mean, and you just look at the little things that we love about Sean Couturier. He's been a great face-off guy for years. This year, he was good, not great, for most of the season. Tonight, 11 of 19 for 58%. The next closest guy is Barkey, 3 for 6 at 50. They had their asses handed to them in the face-off circle tonight. Outside of one dude, Sean Couturier, who himself dominated, basically no one else won a face-off. He scores the goal to make it 2-0. He's all over the place. He's throwing the body the way he was still in the first round. Hard to argue that Sean Couturier has been, at the very least, their best forward, Charlie. Want to ask you now about Matvei Michkov. I thought beginning of this game, kind of more of what we have seen from him, just like, all right, he's out there, overtime, he looked like the freshest player on the ice.
Yeah.
He was creating chances. I thought he had 4 or 5 shots on goal in this game. What'd you think of number 39?
Yeah, I thought he was one of the reasons why they looked so much better in overtime, because this is the overtime was the closest that we've gotten in these playoffs, even more so than game 6 against the Penguins. This is the closest we've gotten in these playoffs to the version of Matvei Michkov that we're all so excited about. And look, he still has a lot he needs to work on. He needs to get stronger. He needs to get a little quicker. But the guy we saw in overtime, like that's a guy worth getting excited about. And I'm glad in a way. It's funny. Like I still very much believe in Matvei Michkov's talent. I do, because I watched every single game of last year. I watched him play. He was playing in the KHL. I've watched all of his highlights from when he was a junior player. Like I still believe he has the upside to be an elite player. But there are a lot of people who have and I say this not in any way to denigrate them, but there are a lot of people who have jumped on the bandwagon during this run that they haven't been following the Flyers these last few years. And it's like, oh, the Flyers are exciting again. Let me get back on board. They haven't gotten to see why we are all so excited about this kid's plausible upside. And I feel like in this overtime, you maybe finally gave them a little bit of a glimpse of like, yeah, that's why he's viewed as one of their top young players. That's why he's a potential core piece. And maybe he showed the new fans that, this isn't just like Matvei Michkov isn't just about like drama on social media. Like there's a really, really good player there waiting to be unearthed. And I feel like in overtime, he showed that.
What'd you think of Barkey at center tonight?
I mostly liked Barkey's game. I mean, he takes the one bad penalty. He was clearly bummed with himself on that. He just loses control of his stick for a little bit. But overall, I did not mind his game. I thought he looked like he belonged. I thought he was playing tenacious defense. He was playing, I mean, even the penalty he takes on Stankoven, like that's because he's playing such tight defense. I mean, he's getting up in people's grills. He's battling. He's fighting. I like Denver Barkey's game. I don't know if they'll keep him in the middle long term. Maybe they'll make a switch, but maybe they won't. Given the fact that this was the Flyers' best game of the series, obviously compared to Game 1, maybe they keep that group together, that kid line with Martone and Bump. I thought Bump in overtime too. I thought he was threatening.
Yeah,
He was one of those guys on a couple of his shifts in overtime. I'm like, he might be the guy who scores the game winner because it feels like feels like something's percolating there. I think Alex Bump has one more big goal left in him in this series. I'm curious when he's going to get it, but I think he's got a big goal in him. He was looking, how they say in baseball when
runnerish,
he's looking runnerish. Like Bump's looking goal scorer.
He's looking scorerish. Right, I would agree. That said, that line, all three of them -2. Maybe not the best showing, but sometimes you can't help when the goals get scored. All right, it is time for Charlie O'Connor's 3 stars of the game, presented by our friends at TrueMark Credit Union. Go to TrueMark.com or check out one of their 24 local branches. Chuck, who is star number 3?
Yeah, star number 3. I'm gonna go with Jamie Drysdale. He gets a goal, power play goal, which this team desperately needed.
Hey.
And I just think he's playing good hockey. This is a guy who sometimes you have to take a step back and remember that like 2 seasons ago, he barely looked like an NHL caliber defenseman. And now he's playing, 20, 25 minutes a night in NHL playoff games and looking darn good. I mean, he finishes with 29-12.
29-12.
In terms of ice time in this game. Just give a shout out to Jamie Drysdale. He's turned himself into a darn solid NHL defenseman, and I'm curious to see if he has another level beyond this. And he gets a big goal. So I'm giving Jamie Drysdale 3rd star.
Tonight's 2nd star.
Yeah, 2nd star, and this isn't a guy who ended up on the score sheet, but I just want to shout him out because I think he's been great this entire postseason. Travis Sanheim just continues to be a horse for this team. He had that one play in the second period where he saves a goal, where it's about to trickle past the line. He saves a goal. I mean, you may not score a goal, but that's a goal swing right there. I mean, that's a play that Travis Sanheim makes by being, heads up play. He just continues to make really, really good defensive plays, has 5 big blocks in this game, plays 31-19. I just feel like his underlying numbers at 5-on-5 were stellar. I think he finished with something like a 65% expected goals for share, when he was on the ice. Sanheim is just turning into one of these guys where you trust that every night he's going to deliver a strong performance. And I thought tonight he was really good.
All right. And tonight's 1st star.
Yeah, we already talked about him, but it's Captain Couturier. I mean, he was the best Flyer on the ice in this game. I didn't think it was terribly close, to be honest with you. I thought in overtime, other guys stepped up, but especially over the first 60 minutes,
yes,
he was the Flyers' best player by a long shot. He was just making plays, holding on to pucks, creating shots, creating chances. Obviously, he gets the big goal by going to the net, but he's involved in that forecheck that leads up to the goal. Grunstrom makes a really good play as well. Glendening's involved. I marvel at the fact that Sean Couturier. It's funny. Rick Tocchet had a really good quote after the game. I want to read it because it's so good. It's worth quoting. He says, "We've been dead before and we've climbed out of the grave. We keep hearing we're dead, but the guys never give up." I feel like that quote fits Sean Couturier so well.
Yeah.
Like, people buried this guy. People thought he was cooked. People wanted him bought out, even though a buyout doesn't even make any actual cap sense. That's the point that people were at with Sean Couturier. And now we're in the second round of the playoffs, and he looks like the Flyers' best player. I mean, props to number 14. He is having one heck of a playoff run, and I think he's a well-deserved first star in this game.
Well, with since you didn't mention him in stars, Charlie, I just wanted to bring up quickly. On May the 4th, the Force may not have been totally with Darth Vladar. 40 out of 43, though. I thought the game tire off of Jarvis. Like, all right, it's Seth Jarvis, but I would like a save there. Is that really? What'd you think of Dan?
Yeah, that's why I left him off. I think he was good. I mean, he made a lot.
Yeah.
He made a lot of big saves. Jamie Drysdale shouted him out in a big way after the game. Basically said that when somebody asked him about Sanheim's goal-saving play, Drysdale more or less said, "Yeah, well, we owed him a save because of how many saves he's made for this team." Which fair.
Yeah.
But I think Vladar was good. It's just that the Flyers did a really good job in this game of keeping the Hurricanes out of the high danger areas. Like, this was the kind of game where a firing on all cylinders Vladar could have had a shutout because the Flyers played that well defensively. Instead, he was just good. And I thought about him for third star. I really did. But that second goal was tough because, I mean, it's a third period. You're a few minutes away from winning that game. And look, Seth Jarvis is a great player. And I'm not going to say that was a weak goal, but it was a stoppable shot, and I think that was the main reason why I put him off my 3 stars.
I think that's the best way to put it. I don't think it was bad. I just think he could have had it. Yep. Like that's what it comes down to. And if they're going to even win a game, he's got to stop all the ones that can be stopped. That's pretty much what it comes down to. Fair, maybe not, but that's what it's going to take because they're a whole lot better. All right, that is Philly's #1 hockey beat writer, Charlie O'Connor, on the Xfinity mobile call-in line. Chuck, safe travels home from Raleigh. Can't wait to see you back in Philly.
Hi, Charlie.
Yep, I'm looking forward to our 4 p.m. show tomorrow, Bill.
Oh, I bet you are, my friend. No one wanted double overtime more than Charlie, I don't think. He was furious when this game ended.
So mad.
All right, on the other side, we're going to get to all your super chats, so stay tuned for that. We got to take, however, our last 2-minute break. If you're really feeling it after a tough workout or a pickup game, or you just feel everyday life catching up to you, do not ignore it. Go with the best. Rothman Orthopedics. They've earned national recognition as the #1 physician practice by Castle Connolly for having the most top doctors in orthopedic care. That means top-tier specialists right here and ready to help you. Scheduling is super easy. Just visit rothmanortho.com/PHLY to book your appointment. Check out Rothman's Fast Scheduler program for access to their VIP scheduling team to get scheduled with the right provider right away. Or tap into Rothman now for immediate virtual access to an orthopedic expert who can point you in the right direction. Do not wait it out. Go to rothmanortho.com/PHLY and take the first step towards feeling like yourself once again. And as always, let's go Flyers! You know that moment, the one where you realize you left your favorite sunglasses at the beach or on the roof of your car or at a gas station 3 states away. I have been there. I've been there far too many times wearing my sunglasses in the ocean, losing them and then saying never again. But then I found Shady Rays and it has changed the game. These sunglasses are made for real life. They're great looking, they're polarized, they're durable, and they're not crazy expensive. And here's the wildest part. If you lose or break them, even on day 1, Shady Rays will send you a brand new pair. No guilt trip, just replacements. So now I actually wear my favorite sunglasses without fear on hikes, at concerts, on the boat, wherever. Shady Rays is eyewear that has your back. Go to shadyrays.com and use code PHLYSR for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. Again, that's shadyrays.com. Use code PHLYSR for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. Welcome back to the final segment of PHLY Flyers postgame presented by Bet365. It's time for your super chats. Let's get to them here. This one's from Doc Mac. What's up, Doc? I know we have to live this right now, but TK needs to go if we want to get to the next level. Throw in Jet and we can get Brady Tkachuk.
For
I know,
big loser
I
energy
know
from Brady
people
Tkachuk.
love Brady Tkachuk and everything.
After that series,
I just don't know if we need another winger.
we don't.
If Brady Tkachuk played center, I would give them anything for Brady Tkachuk. But like, I don't know. I have been looking at like what this winger depth chart is and thinking maybe TK is the one. That said, if you were to approach him about that, he has a full no move.
Yeah.
Now, listen, Chuck Fletcher, with no options other than one team, was able to get you a first-round pick, Endo and Tippett. I would want a little more, I think, but yeah, whatever. I
don't know.
I just don't know if it's a real possibility, and I love TK. It's just like not going well at this very moment.
No.
All right, JH here. How was that not goalie interference? Vladar was physically tied up in the crease and prevented from playing his position. They've taken off goals for less contact.
Overtime goal?
The overtime goal, he was complaining about it, which isn't something you've seen him do a ton. What I'll say is the puck wasn't in the crease, and he did have a chance. It's just he wasn't able to reach it. I don't know. I'd need to see it again. I'm not for taking goals off the board. If it helps the Flyers, great. I didn't see enough to take a goal off the board there, but I'll agree. Like, we take goals off the board for all sorts of nonsense in this league. I don't know. I'd have to see it again. What I saw was a guy reaching for a puck, and he couldn't quite get to it.
Yeah.
Attempting to scoop, couldn't quite scoop, and then Taylor Hall's able to bang it around him. Bummer, but I don't know if he could have made that save.
I don't know.
All right. Who is Mike Mall? TK is Charlie Conway. I mean, Spazway. Listen, he scores at the end now, so, you know. I love TK. I think...
I want better from him.
I want better from him, 100%.
This is like dad's disappointed in you.
Yeah.
Energy.
No,
here.
like,
This isn't I hate you.
Yeah,
I want you to be better.
I really want TK to be better, and that's why I've asked several times about a possible injury. Fact of the matter is, though, like, he's out there.
Yeah.
I remember seeing... I actually saw this transpire at the OD years ago. Someone go up to Jeff Carter, be like, "How did you? What the?" He goes, "You try scoring on a broken foot." That's what he said to him.
Oh boy.
Maybe some other words, but basically,
boy, the balls.
Yeah, that's. I was just like,
hey, why'd you ruin my life by missing the net high?
I was just like, hey, look, it's him. And then like I saw like the thing happen. I was like, wow. Okay. But like he's got to be better.
Yeah,
he's got to be better. All right. This is Phil 9. All that bitching and moaning about playoffs and TK has been a non-factor. Get him off my TV. Shut him down if he's that hurt. Brain of a 6-year-old. He did some good things for them in the Pens game, and I don't know how hurt he is. I have no idea. I have thought this for going back to the regular season now. I don't know if it was bitching and moaning. I don't know if I would put it in those words. I think he gave an honest assessment about being frustrated that they've been out of the playoffs pretty much every season of his career. Yeah. He's made the playoffs once since he was a rookie before this season, and it was in the bubble.
Right.
And he was their best player that season. In the bubble, it didn't go so well for him, as the playoffs have not for quite a bit. But like Kelly said, you know, of the 30 games he's played, 22 of them or whatever were before he was 24 years old, you know? Like, it was a long time ago, the other playoff success, but I know we all would just like to see him be a lot better.
Yes.
But I don't know if I'd classify it as bitching and moaning. I think he gave an honest assessment about how we all feel. Yeah. Tired of missing the playoffs, want to be in them again.
Yes.
I feel the exact same way.
Same.
All right. Next one here, I think we can get in before... Langton Pat or something. I'm in DC for work and wore my Mish jersey to the Philly bar. Got a little let's go Flyers optimism, folks. Hashtag F the Caps. I love the hatred for the Caps, even though DC, they are not in the playoffs.
What is the Philly bar in DC? I need to know this for personal reasons.
Yeah, Kelly has
Can
spent
you please
some.
DM me what the Philly bar is?
Kelly has spent some time in DC lately.
Yeah,
and,
I need to know what the Philly bar
she
is.
would like to know where this Philly bar is. So that
Thank
would be
you.
that is. I always love knowing where these
Me
like,
too.
out of town bars are.
Yeah.
It's always cool.
I was looking for one to watch a Flyers game, and all I could find was like one of those sports bars that just shows all the sports.
Yeah.
And that's not the same as a Philly bar.
No.
There's a Philly bar. I want to know about it.
Yeah, I think we would all like to know about that, especially in the nation's capital where we can take over. All right, and with that, I got to trigger overtime. Go to allphly.com to finish watching. I know I promised no OT tonight, but we only have a few left. Yeah.
I'm already.
All right. From David Chubb. All right. This one. Oh, from Marsh Punk first. Marsh Punk. TK, 2 goals in 29 playoff games. I think I'm done. Listen.
Those aren't.
The first 22 of them, not all that, like they were 6 or more years ago. Like we're talking about 2018 and 2020. And I think we can all look back on 2020 and say we weren't our best selves, you know? Especially,
I personally was my best.
yeah, especially after he was their best player in that 1920 regular season. He's had a rough playoff. I don't think anyone is like, oh, actually, he's been good.
No.
I think he may have been better than his numbers in the Pittsburgh series, but at a certain point, the numbers are the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
You need more than 1 goal through 8 games if you're a team's best forward. And to this point, he just hasn't been.
Exactly.
I don't think that's unfair. All right, this one is our friend David Chubb. It's crazy we are as far as we are with this offense. It is.
You make a fair point.
It is. I mean, as Charlie said, I think I said it early in the show, like they haven't scored more than 2 goals since game 3.
They got to score more.
You have to score more than 2 goals to win. Maybe you can get another shutout out of Vladar and win a game 1 or 2-0. But like that's guys aren't supposed to have playoff shutouts. You know, even tonight, you score 2 goals in the first 4:41. You went like 73 minutes without a goal after you went 60 minutes without a goal in the first game.
Yeah.
Effectively, Freddie Anderson has 2 shutouts in this series, despite giving up 2 goals tonight just based on minutes. And, like, goals against is calculated by minutes. All right. Next one here is, I have no idea. Panda Bear. This was a frustrating loss, but it was also a great experience for the younger guys and a really impressive response to the last game. I feel like several guys look the best they have all playoffs. We've at least in spurts, yes.
If you ask us in 2 weeks,
yeah, 100%.
I'm going to have the exact same assessment. Today, I don't like it.
There's a difference between post-game reaction and big picture.
Yes.
Big picture, especially after winning the first series and beating the Pens to do it, this season's a success no matter what.
100%.
They get swept. They lose the next 2. Yeah, I'm going to be mad for a couple of days because, like, that sucks. I mean, we got to watch these games and do these shows.
Right.
But, like, big picture, they were the 4th worst team in hockey last year.
Right.
They got jobbed out of a top 5 pick by stupid freaking ping pong balls.
Right.
Now, Puerto Martone looks like, okay, well, thanks.
Not bad.
But, like, they sucked flat out. Now, they made it to the second round.
Second round, baby.
All right. Next one here, David again. There were some monster hits in OT. What a game, to be honest. It was an entertaining game.
It was.
The last one, not so much. This was a better game to watch.
Agreed.
This one here, Keva 5839, something. Kev A 5839, maybe. If Tippett is back, do you take Glendening out and put him next to Coots? I think I'd rather Grunstrom come out. I know he made the play behind the net to set up the goal tonight, but I mean,
let's not pretend Carl Grunstrom is something that he's
yeah,
not.
Glendening is your only right-handed center. He's the only one who takes a face-off against a lefty.
I was going to say he wins face-offs. Yeah.
I don't know. I'd probably take Grunstrom out.
Yeah,
That's my assessment there. All right. This one here is James Hoy. Google says pronouncing both R's in February is how fancy people say it. Appreciate that. It's how there's no such thing as silent R in English, but that's whatever. And that's it.
Is that true?
And that is all the time we have for you on PHLY Flyers postgame presented by Bet365. Thank you all for listening. Thanks for hanging out. If you haven't already, you got to hit that subscribe button. Follow us right here on the PHLY Sports YouTube page. We'll be back 4 p.m. tomorrow with our regularly scheduled programming. Follow us on Twitter at PHLY_Flyers and follow the podcast wherever you get those. Just search PHLY Flyers and visit BroadStreetHockey.com. Who knows? You could be reading the work of a future NHL GM.
Or if you want to come write for us,
like
maybe
Eric
you could be a GM. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe you're the
Or
next
you could be
GM.
Charlie O'Connor.
Yeah, or Charlie O'Connor. Who's to say? All right. Until next time, I am Bill Matz. That is Kelly Hinkle. Thanks as always to Brenna. Be excellent to each other.
We all silly like the mayor.